Good afternoon. Mary Conley, August 12th, 2020, afternoon time now. I've filled in some pieces on the Ozark Hotel fire and possible connection to Theodore Bundy. And I don't know if this has ever been investigated, but let's go over some of the reasons I suspect a serial killer may have been into arson also originally. He had a lot to be angry about that year. Okay. Ted Bundy and fire. Johnny Culpeper Bundy is a World War II Navy veteran. We don't know if he said any war stories. In 1940 in Hawaii, which was attacked, the people were burnt in the water as they tried to swim away from the diesel fuel, USS Forrestal, I think. North Carolina farmland, 1940, 1950, 1960s. Fields were plowed under and left to be burned at the end of the field, and i.e. bonfires. This is the way they did it. You cleared a field, you burnt the debris at the end of the field. Philadelphia, I know from Willows Grove. It cost money to have the waste picked up. So a lot of people would take their waste to the dump site themselves in black bags. Yes, they had Glad bags. Or they had a fire pit in the backyard, and they would burn some of their waste in the backyard in a fire pit. Interested son of Sam, who had 1,400 arsons. When he was lowest, he would sometimes spit out the truth. When he was arrested, some innate, animalistic type part of his lizard mind knew that he was in trouble. He was going to get in more trouble once they seen that night kit, or the death kit, or whatever it was. He was arrested for prowling and evading. And he starts talking about, I was watching the Towering Inferno, which is almost identical into the Ozarks Hotel fire in that the people could not get out of the higher levels. Wasn't a modernistic hotel or anything, but nonetheless, it was right outside of Capitol Hill. The preceding months, he had bought a license for marriage, tore up a license for marriage, lied about having an undergraduate degree. He had decided that Liz needed a different apartment. He was the one that knew Seattle best. He looked for an apartment for her, found one at Green Lake. Green Lake is just north of the Ozarks Motel, and Green Lake is more or less northeast of her home at Capitol Hill. Okay. Then he said that he had been smoking pot, and he rushed around to try to get the smoke out. He took lumber from the wood pile at Chi Omega. In his mind, it was a firewood pile. In Florida, we have wood piles for other reasons because we just have nowhere to put it. We don't have a lot of fireplaces, but nonetheless, some people do. But he took it as thought it was a wood pile. At the time of the Ozark, he was at a crossroads. Liz wanted marriage. He was helping her find an apartment. He took urban studies in there somewhere. He lied about having a bachelor's degree. He drove around as a messenger service, summons server. Had proximity, yes. Frustration, angry, and stress, yes. The wee hours. The fire started at 2:37 a.m. That's when the call came in, 2:36. Job goes in and out of the area. Posing as a fireman sometimes. Bundy and fire. Shot the flutes on her heater. Was a Boy Scout. Smoked. How to do. He stalked the hotel. If he seen the night desk clerk went to the bathroom at a certain time or took a break at a certain time, he could have been standing outside that window. And when the guy went to take his lunch break at 2 to 2:15, he goes into the stairwell. There's 2 stairwells. One probably leads to an alley. It could have been locked from the out, just locked. The other one is the main one that the clients use. So he could have taken 2 suitcases that he bought at a Goodwill shop. They used to have red and black plaid little suitcases, 2 by maybe 1 foot high. They were just like little girl suitcases. But nonetheless, if you look like you're a client and you're wearing a white shirt and you're carrying the 2 suitcases, it wouldn't have looked odd. You just go up the stairwell. You go to the far stairwell that people don't use, and inside that suitcase are folded newspapers, which you have put kerosene or turpentine and saturated them in kerosene and turpentine. This is a wood structure. So he could have stacked them around. lit him up. He could have had fingernail polish bottle in his coat pocket, or he could have had rubbing alcohol in his coat pocket, or he could have had a small vial of gasoline just put in a different bottle. I know you're not supposed to move, but he could have done it. He was familiar with gasoline. So he sets that suitcase on fire. He comes to the main lobby, walks across the floor, suitcase in hand, walks to the other stairwell, second floor. He didn't go way up, and he sets it on fire the same way, and it could have been a soaked newspaper with kerosene or turpentine. In lieu of that, they had these big old laundry bags for sheets and linen. He could have got him one of them big old laundry bags and just had it stuffed with rags and trash clothes and junk, and had that saturated in the kerosene and turpentine, stuffed it around in the first area, stuffed it around the second area, and walked out to the street to watch his handiwork. All right. Let's see. All right, kerosene. All right, I'm trying to read my writing. It's terrible. Okay, that's about it. I'm trying to think of anything. We see that we'd have to ask around to see, but I mean, he said stress made him, and if he did that, I'm just saying, if he did that, if he talked about, there were arsons going on at that time. He posed as a fireman, I think on more than one occasion. All right, y'all have a good day now. This is the way my mind is working. I don't know. They're supposed to be interested in arson and pyromanias and stuff. He was interested in Son of Sam. I don't know. You tell me. And whoever it was organized enough to have set a dumpster on fire several blocks away. It was within his area. I mean, it was just a few blocks from his home on 12th Avenue, and the college, what was her name? The University District, no, what was it called? Capitol Hill. And then the Motel of the Ozarks. It was a very famous fire. It stood out. March of 1970. Thank you.